welcome to the book with Suzy. Do you have the book The Courage to Be You, authored by Antoinette ENOHMBI? If not, you need to hurriedly get yourself a copy, because this is a guide to healing and transformation. You know, a lot of people go through a lot, and of course we need this book so that we can journey safely to embracing our authentic self. You're welcome to this program, The Book with Suzy. Antoinette.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for having me and for giving me the opportunity to talk about my book on this platform.
Antoinette, please tell me what triggered you to write The Courage to Be You, and tell us why its content is relevant today.
I wrote this book, The Courage to Be You, because I saw how many people, including myself, at different points in life, were living according to expectations, responsibilities, and survival rather than authenticity. We're living based on what is expected on us. So through grief, migration, caregiving, motherhood, and various life transitions, I came to learn that healing often requires us to rediscover who we truly are beneath all the roles that we play. You know, Susan, I believe this message is especially relevant today because we live in a world that constantly tells us who we should be. You know, many people are successful on the outside, but disconnected from themselves on the inside. So this book is an invitation with greater honesty and courage and wholeness. It's an invitation to be whole.
You know, a lot of people say that it takes courage for people to be themselves. I want to understand.
It takes courage because being yourself means risking judgment, disappointment, and sometimes rejection from others. Many of us have learned in life to fit in, please others, or meet certain expectations in order to be accepted, in order to be part of the group. So choosing authenticity requires us to ask difficult questions. You got to ask yourself, what do I truly believe? What matters to me? What kind of life do I want to live? That process can be very uncomfortable for some people, but it's also deeply liberating, because true courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to honor what you are desperate of.
Why do you believe that many people are functioning but are not okay?
I believe many people have become experts at surviving or pretending. You know, we go to work, we care for our families, we meet expectations and obligations, we continue to move forward, but internally, we are carrying unresolved grief, disappointment, exhaustion, and even trauma. And our society often rewards productivity more than normal emotional well-being. So we celebrate strength, but barely make space for vulnerability, barely make space for introspection. And as a result, many people learn to function while silently struggling. You know, Susan, healing begins when we give ourselves permission to acknowledge that both can exist at the same time. Mm-hmm. That we can be strong and still need support.
Yeah, you better give yourself permission to believe that you are strong. Well, thank you, Antoinette. We are definitely going to be coming back to you, because at this point in time, we need to get the forward of this program. And we are glad to have Prince Ojong Ayuk give his own contribution why those who are watching us today need to get a copy of The Courage to Be You.
This book explores the theme of healing and transformation. It is a book written by a coach, a success coach. If you want to make changes in your life, what do you need? In soccer, we have coaches. Similarly, in personal development, we also have coaches. And Antoinette ENOHMBI is also a coach. She has written this book to help most of her clients who are going through a lot of life journeys. When you look at the subject of the book, healing, transformation, if you think you need to make changes in your life, transformation comes into play. What about if you are dealing with grief or loss? Those are two themes that are intertwined in The Courage to Be You. And Antoinette ENOHMBI helps you to navigate these two themes successfully. And these are themes that are very, very common. The average person deals with loss, and the average person needs to fix their lives. So this book comes in handy. So who is this book for? This book is not an academic treatise. It is a book that is meant to help your average person. So it is not just for people who are in academia. This, I would say, is a book for everyone who is serious about making changes in their life or who is had experience with grief. If that is you, the book is talking to you directly. When you have a copy of this book, you don't just read it just like a novel. It is actually a companion book that you buy, then you work with Miss Antoinette ENOHMBI to accomplish your objectives. And she uses many techniques. And an interesting example is neurolinguistic programming. How do you make changes in your life? Most of those changes have to do with the mind. So she helps you to work through these changes. And one of the techniques I just mentioned is NLP. And she uses it extensively in this book. Then she has other techniques also. So if you are really ready to make change in your life, if you are ready to deal with grief, I think you better read this book, then contact the author. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Prince Ojong Ayuk, for that insight. And I know those who are watching us will rush for their own copy. I come back to you, Antoinette. You know, sometimes people think grief is only associated with the death of a loved one. But this is a point you do not agree to.
Absolutely. Grief is a natural response to any significant loss, change, or life transition, not just death. You know, people grieve divorce, migration, infertility, illness, retirement, broken relationship, unmet expectation, the loss of identity during major life transitions. For many immigrants like myself, grief includes leaving behind home, family, traditions, language, and a sense of familiarity. You can be grateful for new opportunities and still grieve what was left behind. And so recognizing these losses allows us to heal more compassionately and intentionally.
That's very true. Yes, we should not only think that grief is associated with death of a loved one. Yeah, it comes with so many things. In your book, you talk about grief and expectations. How do cultural expectations shape the way people in Africa deal with grief?
Oh yes, many African cultures place a high value on strength, resilience, and collective responsibility. While those values are very beautiful, they can sometimes make it difficult for individuals to express vulnerability or seek support. You know, people may feel pressure to remain strong for the family, suppress their emotions, or move on quickly just because they don't want to be seen as weak. There can also be expectations about how grief should be expressed and how long it should last. You know, I believe we can honor our cultural values while also creating space for emotional honesty for for the bereaved. Strength and vulnerability are not opposite. They complement one another.
Yeah, that's very true. They do complement one another. So one cannot go without the other. They have to move together. Now, what are the biggest obstacles preventing people from becoming their authentic self?
One of the biggest obstacles is fear. The fear of disappointing others, the fear of the unknown, the fear of being judged or losing acceptance. You know, many people also carry limiting beliefs that we form through childhood experiences, cultural expectations, or painful life events. Another obstacle is busyness. We tend to be busy all the time. When we are constantly doing and achieving, we rarely pause enough to ask ourselves who we are and what we truly want. But authenticity requires self-awareness, reflection, and the willingness to let go of identity that no longer serves us.
What are some of the practical steps that people can take to start embracing, their true self?
The first step is creating moments of quiet. Quiet reflection. Ask yourself a few questions. What matters most to me? What brings me joy? What have I neglected about myself? Second, honor your story rather than running from it. Don't run from your story. Receive it. Our experiences, including our losses, shape us but do not define us. They shape us. Third, set healthy boundaries surrounding yourself with people who support your growth. And finally, practice self-compassion. Becoming your authentic self is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey of learning, healing, and returning to who you truly are.
Yeah, and one thing I have learned in life is that a lot of people don't appreciate who they are. We are having our Vox Pop now. So the question is, what is the one thing that has helped you heal from a difficult time in your life? Well, I think with your response, you watching, you will be inspired in some way.
The one thing that have actually helped me to heal from a difficult situation in my life is the issue of perseverance. I am able to persevere during difficult moments and wait for some time to digest whatever thing is going on in order to know the road, in order to direct me on the right path. And finally, I usually pray to God Almighty for divine direction and how to solve that particular problem at that particular time. So in any situation that you go through, make sure you look up to God Almighty. Don't struggle to do it with force, but with perseverance and persistence, you will be okay by God's grace.
One of the main things that have helped me heal from a difficult situation in my life, first of all, it may not only be one. From some difficult situations in my life is that aspect of keeping firm and having a positive mindset. Because at times we may have some troubles, but by the time you want to be weak in spirit, those troubles will overcome the situations we are facing. But when we have a positive mindset and then we hold to the truth and we believe in God, most of the times you will see that some of these things will come and they will pass by.
As human beings, we know we are bound to face difficult moments in life. But then, if you face a difficult moment, what do you do? So, what I did was I turned to God through prayers. So, I think prayers has been helpful to me during my difficult moments.
What actually helped me to heal from the situation that I had in my life was like leaning towards God and being more prayerful and reading my Bible, even though it wasn't easy. When I had the situation, I had advices from people, I complain, I like ask other people what their thoughts were, what they were thinking, what I could do. But at the end of the day, what actually helped me to heal was like being prayerful, sitting quietly and like reading my Bible and handing everything in the hands of the Lord. And with time, everything, in fact, I discovered it was already okay and life continued normally.
Thank you for joining us. If you are tuning in, you're watching the book with Suzy, and of course we are having the author of The Courage to Be You. In this book, you also describe yourself as a spiritual director. What role has your spirituality, played in your healing journey?
My spiritual journey has been the foundation of my healing journey. I say that all the time. It has taught me the importance of silence, reflection, trust, and surrender. There were seasons in my life when I did not have all the answers, but my faith gave me the courage to keep moving forward. Through prayer, contemplation, and spiritual direction, I learned that healing is not about fixing ourselves or myself. It is about becoming more deeply rooted in who God created us to be. So my spirituality continues to remind me that even in the moments of uncertainty, we are never alone.
Now, how can faith and spirituality help individuals navigate trauma and life transitions?
Faith and spirituality provide meaning, hope, connection during difficult times. They remind us that our plan is real, but it is not the end of the story. Spiritual practices such as prayer, meditation, community worship, and reflective silence create spaces where healing can unfold. They help us hold both grief, hope at the same time. Faith does not remove suffering. People confuse that faith does not remove suffering, but it gives us strength, perseverance, and the assurance that transformation is possible, even in our most challenging moments and times.
Yeah. One thing I just learned from what you said is that faith does not remove suffering. Yes, we should all be aware of that faith does not remove suffering. It's just what matters is how we go about managing ourselves. And as she said, you definitely need to, to seek support from other people who have gone through grief, because from their stories, you'll be able to manage your own well. Many people are afraid to seek help and support because they fear judgment, the lack of trust or accountability. What will you say to those people right now?
I will first want them to know that seeking support is not a sign of weakness. No, it's not. It is a sign of courage, as a matter of fact. You do not have to carry life burdens alone. Healing happens in relationships, in safe spaces where you are seen, heard, and accepted without judgment. And so it is okay to take your time finding the right person or the right community to seek support. Trust is built gradually. But please remember that asking for help does not diminish your strength. It honors your humanity.
Yeah, seeking for support does not diminish your strength. Did you hear that? That is coming from Coach Auntie. Yes, she is a life coach. We are going to take a short break from you. Now we need to take on the shelf, and we continue to have Mabel Foncham on this segment. She is a Liberian expert, and she's helping us to discover the world of a Liberian. And this time around, Mabel, we want to ask you, what role can artificial intelligence play in making libraries more accessible available for people with disabilities, non-native speakers, or those with low literacy?
AI can make information easier to access through AI tools that permit text to speech or speech to text. Well, I guess that's what I'm talking about. And also simplified reading. There are some resources or books that people want to read, but you realize that, okay, it's not suitable for this age group. But using AI tools, you can comfortably find a way to adapt it to the different audiences. For example, in the work that we all do, we meet people with different literacy needs. So you can still use AI as artificial intelligence as a tool to adapt to these different information needs.
Welcome back. Thank you very much, Mabel. We're going to be keeping you, for, let's say, a while, because from you we are learning a lot. And thank you for being our resource person on this segment of On the Shelf. Thanks to you, we have learned a lot about libraries, their duties, and of course, what they do on a daily basis. Coach Auntie, if you have one message for the viewers, what would that be?
My message would be that transformation is possible for everyone. It's not just for a selected group of people. Transformation is possible for everyone if we allow ourselves. You do not have to lose yourself in order to survive life's challenges.
Okay.
Your story matters. Your healing matters. And you also matter. Give yourself permission to grow, to grieve, to rest, and to become the person you were created to become. And always remember that courage begins with being yourself.
Yes, for those who are watching us, you need to know that Antoinette ENOHMBI is based in the US, thanks to the information and communication technology. We're able to have, or we are able to have this amazing conversation, and we are able to talk about the courage to be you. We know that this book was published there in the US, The Courage to Be You. How can the person watching get hold of your book?
This book is available online on Amazon, and we have both the hard copy and the digital copy. So if you want electronic version, you can get it online on Amazon. And if you want the hard copy, you can also find it there. People can connect with me through my website and my social media platform for purchasing information, upcoming events, and my speaking engagement. I truly hope that the book becomes a companion for everyone going through grief, life transitions, or the journey towards greater authenticity and healing.
Yes, definitely they will get hold of you. But tell us how to reach you.
I would love to connect with anyone who feels supported by this message. You can visit my website at www.t as in Tom, T like in Tom, tlifecoachinggrief.com. Follow me on social media. My handle is at T like in Tom, Life Coaching Grief, T Life Coaching Grief. Whether through coaching, speaking engagement, retreats, or simply continuing the conversation, my hope is to support people as they navigate grief, life transitions, and the journey of finding themselves again.
Yeah, a lot of people are lost, and they will definitely need to find themselves. And you being a coach, I know that you will be available to, to coach them. You will be available to give them a listening ear and to give them the help that they need. I did enjoy our conversation today. It has really been enriching.
Thank you, Suzy, for giving me this opportunity to talk about my book, to share something that is so passionate with me. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again.
It was a delight having you on this program today. Thank you for watching, and of course, see you next Wednesday for another exciting edition. Thank you, and bye-bye.